Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. It is Friday, June 18, and we have both WWE SmackDown to talk about and AEW Dynamite. Ladies and gentlemen, I am exhausted here today. This is my fifth podcast of the day, and it was a very interesting night of pro wrestling, is what I can really say about tonight. I feel like today is going to be just one of those nights where I feel like either you guys are totally going to agree with me or totally disagree with me, or sort of be half on a lot that we saw here tonight. So I'm just going to start off by letting everyone know that I thought SmackDown today was a good show, decent show, not bad, decent night. However, I have to say that I was not a fan of AEW Dynamite tonight. I thought this was probably my least favorite edition of AEW Dynamite. And you guys all know, if you come on here and you watch me every single week, you know I usually say, good show, good show. Oh, I love today's show. Great show. I mean, I sound like a broken record at this point, but truthfully, tonight was just not a good night, guys. Like, I will just say that there was a lot that I did not like on the show. There was a lot that I thought that was weird, and I was just not a fan of everything that happened today. Now, I am going to kick things off with SmackDown and then jump into AEW Dynamite. I will be talking only about the major highlights and most newsworthy moments to discuss. But before I get started, I do want to remind you all that this is a very interactive stream. So make sure to send in your thoughts, your questions, your statements, all of that here in the chat. However, as the chat gets rolling, if you want to make sure your comment gets read, feel free to send in a super chat. If you do send in a super chat, you will get your comment read on the air. 100% guaranteed. And F4W Online does allow me to keep 100% of the proceeds of whatever money I make from super chats. If you guys do send them in, I very much appreciate them throughout the night. But I can see from the corner of my eye, this chat is blowing up and I don't even know where to begin. Actually, I do now because we got our first super chat of the day. And here we go. This one is from Dr. Sophia Bonilla, DWO EVP. Denise World Order is conquering, y'all. All right. Dr. Sophia says, buenas noticias. Tengo la mejor idea. Like Taylor fans are called Swifties, I think all DWO members should be called Salsechos. Give Denise the ranch. Thank you so much to Sophia for sending in this super chat, for being a fan of my shows. I thank you so much. So shout out to you for getting this, the ball rolling, essentially. All right, guys, what did you think overall? Let's get some overall thoughts on SmackDown, some overall thoughts on AEW Dynamite, and then we're going to go ahead and hop right into SmackDown. I'm going to read a first comment. This one is from Iron Eyes Corey over on Twitch, who says, I've seen a lot worse from Dynamite, kind of just a filler episode. I don't know. Honestly, in recent memory, this to me feels like one of the worst Dynamites, and I may be alone in that thought process, but I am going to go ahead and explain my reasonings as to why. I'm not just going to say it without actually providing some sort of context, and I will be providing that as we go through the last show. This one is from MCASPDO64, who says, AEW was much better than the last 2 weeks. No, I don't think so. I actually thought the last 2 weeks prior of AEW Dynamite was perfectly a pretty good show overall. Now, those shows felt like filler shows, but they didn't feel like bad shows whatsoever. Today's show felt like a bad show, not necessarily a filler show, if that makes any sense at all. This is a comment from Generico, who says, really thought the MMA stuff was a swing and a miss. Oh boy, am I gonna get into that, guys. Yeah, that's gonna get a little wild up in here. We have a super chat from Khaled Adam, who says, thoughts on SmackDown's women's title in the cell at the pay-per-view. So Bayley versus Bianca Belair is looking like it's going to be in a Hell in a Cell match. And that was honestly already the match that, looking at the card, I was already most excited for. And now the fact that that they added the Hell in a Cell edition, to me, that just makes it so much better, because I'm 100% here for seeing Bianca versus Bayley in that match. So thank you so much to Khaled Adam for sending in this super chat. Let's see what else we got here. This one is from, I'm going to see some comments here. This one is from Iron Ice Corey, who also says, yeah, the MMA stuff was just weird. Lenny Banner says, Bayley Bianca is not Hell in a Cell worthy. To me, comes off as mega force. I feel like you can argue that about a lot of what we're seeing on Hell in a Cell or in Hell in a Cell matches, with the fact that it's the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. It really just feels like none of the feuds really should end up in a Hell in a Cell. Like, it really has sort of debunked that whole, this feud has gotten so intense that it has to end in a Hell in a Cell match. I feel like that's like practically non-existent at this point. Alrighty, everyone, but let's go ahead and start talking about SmackDown before we before we lose track here. So I'm actually going to kick things off talking about Rey Mysterio and Roman Reigns. So I believe it was yesterday, maybe even the day before, where they announced that officially we were going to be having Rey Mysterio versus Roman Reigns, not necessarily happening at Hell in a Cell, but instead a Hell in a Cell match on Friday Night SmackDown. And the second this announcement was made, everybody was like, what the heck is going on? This match was supposed to be happening at the pay-per-view. Why is it now happening on SmackDown? Should we be excited? Should we not be excited? What's going on here? I think a lot of people were very, very thrown off by this, because it did not make sense. When you think about how we even got to this match, I was just talking about this, that a lot of matches don't necessarily feel feel like they are Hell in a Cell worthy of actually being inside the actual structure. And this was definitely one of them heading into the pay-per-view because, yeah, we all know Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio would have been a blast at the pay-per-view. But the thing is that this actual storyline had like a 1 week, maybe 2 weeks top build going into this. And it was something that was sprung out of nowhere, really. And so given that, it's kind of like, all right, so this was already a last minute thing. And then it ended up kind of swerving us. And then being on SmackDown, it really just didn't make sense that it was last minute for Hell in a Cell and then ended up being pushed up a lot earlier over to SmackDown. So a lot of this heading into this really did not make sense whatsoever. This is a comment from High Score Run who says, it was a good match, but Hell in a Cell isn't a grand event anymore. It really was, honestly. When we're talking about Rey Mysterio, Roman Reigns, I'm going to kick things off with the opening segment because Rey Mysterio comes out and he gets very emotional about Roman Reigns essentially tossing Dominic out of the ring. We all saw how Dominic practically flew like a million miles overboard, over the ropes. And I got to say, for a storyline that necessarily again was rushed, I thought Rey Mysterio did a fantastic job in his promo work today, really selling the emotion, really selling the I'm a father and I feel so much pain and I will never forgive this man for doing what he did to my son. I think that Rey Mysterio, for the most part, on his end, did everything he possibly could in that promo to actually make the people actually care about what we were seeing in this storyline. Obviously, the Roman Reigns side, anything Roman Reigns does right now is pretty much gold, which sucks because right now Roman Reigns is doing some of his best work ever and he has no challengers. One of the things that I was saying a couple weeks ago was if you don't have a hot challenger for your champion Roman Reigns, don't put him in a nothing match at Hell in a Cell and essentially have him, in a match that doesn't mean anything. I'd rather have him not be on the show if you're just going to have him in this, match that doesn't mean anything. When they announced this match with Rey Mysterio happening at Hell in a Cell, I was like, okay, this feud hasn't been all of that, but at least it's Rey Mysterio, and at least it's going to be a match that, I can look forward to at the pay-per-view. So what I want to really get at here is good for Rey for really selling this story here on the promo. But Roman Reigns comes out and he basically says that it isn't his fault that Rey Mysterio isn't ready for him and gives Rey Mysterio one more chance to back out of this match, and he doesn't back out. Says he's never been more ready in his life. Jimmy backstage offers to help out Roman Reigns, but apparently they do not know where Jey Uso is at because Roman is telling him, I don't just need you, I need your brother. We only work as a unit. So I really liked all of that. So then we actually have the Hell in a Cell match. Right off the top, we see Rey Mysterio use the fire extinguisher. We see him putting my favorite spot of this actual match was when Rey Mysterio put the chair on Roman Reigns' neck and put his head essentially right through the hole of the chair and was ramming his head right into the to the cage through the cell and also on the turnpost. I thought that was absolutely phenomenal. Roman ended up going through a table as he was trying to run through Rey, ended up running straight through a table, but in the end, we definitely see Rey Mysterio lose like a lot of us were expecting. I don't think anybody, whether this match was happening on SmackDown, whether this match was happening at Hell in a Cell, I don't think anybody actually expected Rey Mysterio to win. So Rey Mysterio got choked out with the guillotine choke. This was a very fun Hell in a Cell match, but it was a very basic Hell in a Cell match. It wasn't, if this would have happened on the pay-per-view, I think that this would have been a whole lot better. Obviously a lot more fun, a lot more usage of the weapons, because we did see Rey Mysterio utilize a lot of weapons throughout this match. But given the fact that it was on SmackDown and we had commercial breaks, we knew that it wasn't going to be up to the level that you normally see at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. And so after the match, we do see Rey Mysterio getting back up, and this pisses off Roman Reigns to no end, and I love this so much. I was completely completely sold on this because Roman Reigns is looking at him like he's the scum of the earth because that man has the audacity to get back up, and Roman Reigns does not like that whatsoever. So Roman Reigns gets him in another guillotine, and I thought that was awesome. So there you go. That is everything that went down with Roman Reigns, Jimmy, and we did not see Jey Uso here tonight. So what did you guys think of this? Send in your thoughts. We have a super chat. Thank you so much to Brandon Rosen, who says, Roman doesn't have to fight on every pay-per-view. I agree, Brandon. I called you Brandy. I don't even know what I called you. Brandon. Brandon says, give him the Brock Lesnar treatment and make him and the title even more of a special event. See, and they don't even have to go the full Brock Lesnar route where we only see him actually defend the title a couple months or whatever. No, it's just like if you don't have challengers for him, don't have him in these like nothing matches that don't mean anything. Roman Reigns is literally the best thing that they have going right now, not just on SmackDown, but across the WWE spectrum. So I do think that they should obviously, trot their, keep track of their steps a little bit more there. So thank you so much to Brandon for sending in this super chat here. Let's see what else we got here, guys. Send in your comments. I'm going to be reading these here. This one is from Pomi, who says, taking off Rey versus Roman from the pay-per-view kind of annoys me. Yes, it was incredibly rushed, but I was still excited to see it. Every other match on the card is either a rematch or has had a terrible build. That's exactly what I mean by the fact that I think every match on the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view has had a terrible build. I don't think there's one match where I genuinely feel like, you know what, the story for this match has been good. Obviously on paper, I'm looking forward to seeing Bianca and Bayley. I'm hoping that I do think that Rhea Ripley, Charlotte will be good. I do think that will be a great match, actually. So on paper, they're great matches. Their story just wasn't necessarily all there for all of those. Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, we've seen it so many times, so we have our thoughts on that. And then obviously we don't really know what to expect out of Shayna and Alexa. And then obviously the addition of Cesaro and Seth as well. And let's see what else we got here. This one is from High Score Run, who says, with no live audience, do you think they should have done some editing, cinematic things with the match? With this Hell in a Cell match on SmackDown, if that's your question, I'm going to say no. I would say stick to what they did there. Brandon Charles Powell says, I was indifferent towards this Hell in a Cell match. I did think Jimmy was going to super kick Roman at the end. Again, this was your basic Hell in a Cell match, and it was really what I was expecting considering that it was on SmackDown. Derek Jones says, Roman sells well when he hits, but it never near matters because he doesn't sell the injuries later in the match, souring the match in my opinion. I like Roman, so I really don't even have anything to nitpick there on that one, to be honest. Thank you so much to Bobby Thunder, who also noted that they also added Kevin and Sami Zayn. Again, we've seen Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn go at it a whole bunch, so there really isn't all that much new there. We have a comment from Captain Sturrogirl, who says, hold on. Let me just ask, why are we giving Roman pay-per-views off if there's no credible challengers? Isn't that up to creative to create credible challengers for him by the time his current feud ends? You would think so. You would definitely think so. Yes, Roman Reigns should definitely have some credible challengers lined up for him. You would think that they would have, somebody ready on the docket, as soon as he was done with, what he was doing with Kevin Owens, what he did with Jey Uso, what he did, just across the board with Edge and all of that, right? And Daniel Bryan. You would have thought that there would have been a follow-up to that. Well, there really hasn't been, but you would definitely think so. Okay, guys. So let's go ahead and move on from this because we do have so much to talk about here today. So after this, let's get into the in-ring debut of Commander Azeez. And We had two bad debuts, in-ring debuts today. We had one on SmackDown and one on AEW, which I will talk to later. But this one is Apollo teaming with Commander Azeez versus Big E and Kevin Owens. This match was made last week. I was very happy with how this match was made. Was I happy with this actual match? It was what it was. What I really want to talk about here is Azeez. And what I really want to say here is that this was not the greatest in-ring debut for him. He looked kind of lost throughout this match. He looked a little stiff. He didn't really know, like, exactly. There were some moments where you can tell he was really thinking about what he had to do next. There was a moment where he left the ring, and then I think he forgot that he had to stay in the ring, or I don't know what he forgot he had to do, but he exits the ring and does nothing and then walks around to the other side and gets right back in. It was just one of those things that, like, did not make sense whatsoever. And here's the thing. He's this, like, 7 foot something guy, right? So you would expect that he would not just wrestle this match like you're any ordinary guy. You would think he would bring in something a little bit extra special given his size. I didn't see that. I didn't see anything extra special here. And then also the other thing that I wasn't necessarily crazy about was the gear that he was actually wrestling in is that same coat that you see him wearing when he's standing behind Apollo, and he has those big yellow ropes on him. I'm not exactly sure what their actual name is and all, but those definitely got in the way while he was doing this match. So I was definitely not into this. I thought it was just very obvious that he was very lost throughout this. But in the end, he did get the win. He hit the Nigerian nail on Kevin Owens for the win. But this was definitely not the best debut. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. This one is from Brandon, who says, Commander, dude, wasn't ready for television, probably not ready for Asuka either. Kevin Nash is cool, says, almost had a better debut than Commander Azeez. 100%. Like, I think Commander Azeez might have done a little bit more, but Omos just looked a lot better doing what he did, even though he was a little bit more limited. With whatever he did, it actually had an impact and it didn't look bad. But I do think that obviously a lot of that, you also have to credit AJ Styles, who was like there with him and obviously could help guide him through that. And so Omos definitely had a better in-ring debut. And considering that they're both, very big guys, we are going to go ahead and, compare the two, obviously. And let's see what else we got here. A Shock says, commentary overhyped Azeez to overkill levels. See, I don't think I mind that necessarily because they do gotta hype him up, right? It was just unfortunate that he just didn't look all of that great in the actual ring doing it. So I just don't think that he was necessarily ready here. But let's move on, because right after this, we had Shinsuke versus Baron Corbin for the 1 zillionth time. And we had the battle for the crown. So I've been watching SmackDown every week, guys, every week. And I swear, this was the first time they mentioned, I forgot if it was Pat McAfee or Michael Cole, but somebody on commentary mentioned, something, the best out of 5. And I'm thinking, what now? You're barely promoting this best out of 5 match? Like, nobody knew that. Everybody just thought that we were repeating matches. Like, they never promoted the best out of 5 series whatsoever. So this was the first time that I had heard it. Like, if they said it last week or the week before, I was definitely unaware of that. I was definitely not aware of that. This was a boring match. Shinsuke Nakamura ended up winning. They broke the pattern because up until this point, it was Baron, Shinsuke, Baron. I already forgot. Guys, this was not good. Shinsuke, you can say, is the new king since he's now got the crown. Oh, God. Cancel Denise. Honestly, I think I would be canceled today. I haven't even got into like the meat of everything just yet. Brandon says they added the best out of 5 series last minute trying to play us. I feel like that's probably, it's Bobby Thunder says they said it once last week. I think that's like the best possible save Like, if you're going to have people pointing out the fact that you've been seeing this match nonstop, might as well last minute just go ahead and say it's a best out of 5 series. Brandon Rosen says Nakamura beating Corbin clean should be the end of this feud, but it's WWE, so I highly doubt it. I kind of felt like it should have been the end of the feud, given the fact that he got the crown. Shouldn't that be it? I mean, it should be, right? But I don't think it actually is, though. Okay. Titoti says, they said it last week, but it was like, oh yeah, we planned this the whole time. See, it was more like they tend, when they want the fans to remember something or for something to get embedded in our minds, they will say it a million times. This was something that was definitely not said more than 2 times or even once. So I think we would have definitely all remembered that. Alrighty, guys, we're going to go ahead and move on. This is the last topic for SmackDown, and then we are going to move on to AEW Dynamite. So let's get right into it. We have 2 more topics here. Bianca Belair comes out and says Bayley can kiss her championship dreams goodbye, calls her a bully, says that she didn't like Bayley laughing in her face because it reminded her of the bullies from her school back in the day that would bully her, and says she's loud, proud, and unapologetically her. And she says, quote, Bay, Sunday, I don't want you in the ring. I want you in a Hell in a Cell. Bayley comes out and throws a punch at Bianca. They go at it. Bayley kicks Bianca. She tosses Bayley to the outside. They brawl a little bit. And there you go. Hell in a Cell match. The thing I do like about this, though, is that Bayley did lose her championship to Sasha in Hell in a Cell. So I kind of hope that maybe they'll mention that and be like, hey, like, you know, Bayley should be a little bit, you know, nervous here. Bianca kind of got the best of her because Bianca knows that she lost the bout to Sasha Banks, but at the same time, Bianca's new to this stipulation. So I do hope that they kind of tell a little bit about that in there. And lastly, Otis versus Angelo Dawkins. And all I gotta say is I really like this Otis. I wish they would have done this version of Otis when he had the Money in the Bank. Otis looks like a badass. Like, he comes out here, I'm legit afraid of this guy. I mean, they literally like erased the beard off his face and it worked. It definitely worked. He is selling it. He's looking killer. I like this. I like that, you know, he came out. This match never even got officially started because he beat the living hell out of Dawkins, and with the help of Chad Gable. I mean, this was awesome. So there you guys go. I love this Otis. Wish they would have done it sooner. All right, I'm going to read a couple more comments, and then we are going to move on to AEW Dynamite. Also, friendly reminder, if you want to get your comment, question, or statement read on the stream, feel free to send in a super chat. If you do send in a super chat, I will read your comment 100% guaranteed, or your money back. Just kidding. I can't give you your money back, but you can definitely send in a super chat and I will read your comment. Also, F4W Online does allow me to keep 100% of the proceeds of whatever money I make from super chats, which allows me, everybody, to keep the AC on. For those of you who are wondering why I'm not dripping sweat today, it's because I turned on the AC 1 minute before I came on to this stream. So there you go. All right, let's see what else we got here. This is a comment from, let's see. Josh Bowen, who says SmackDown was a better show tonight. I gotta agree with Josh. You know what? When it comes down to it, I like to consider myself a fair person. I judge both the WWE product and the AEW product. You know, I judge them both fairly. At least I feel like I do. And so I gotta say it. I thought SmackDown was definitely the better show today. Definitely. All right. Let's see what else we got here. This is a comment from Riff55, who says that Hell in a Cell match was incredibly underwhelming, felt completely unnecessary, and just kind of boring. Like I said earlier today, it was a basic Hell in a Cell match. Whatever you want to take from that. We have a comment from Mr. EMJ, who says, I'm digging the Otis heel turn. He should always use the old school Vader bomb as a finisher. Plus that discus clothesline German suplex combo was dope. Exactly. Alrighty. Oh yeah, you know what? I want to read this comment too. This one's from Titoti, who says, love this segment. Just straight to the point. I agree. I definitely agree. It was very straight to the point, and it got across everything that they're aiming to do with Otis at the moment. Alrighty, everyone, let's do this. It is now time to talk about AEW Dynamite, and I'm warning you all. I'm going to warn you all now before you get mad at me in the chat or in the comment section. I'm warning you all that as much as I love and always enjoy AEW, today was definitely not it for me. Today was my least favorite edition of Dynamite, and I'm sorry. I'm apologizing now. I'm apologizing ahead of time. Please forgive me, and I hope you appreciate my honesty. We have a super chat from Dr. Sophia Bonilla, DWO EVP, who says, AEW is holding back till they go to Wednesdays. Well, this is officially the last Friday that they are doing this time slot, at least for right now. Next week, they are going to be on June 26th, which is a Saturday. Then after that, June 30th, they are back on Wednesday. So hopefully, and I believe, I'm not even going to say hopefully. I'm going to say that they're definitely going to get back on track for sure. For sure. This just tonight wasn't it. This wasn't it tonight. All right, guys. We have a comment from MCaps who says, I'm mad already. Joseph says, preach, Denise. Kevin Nash is cool says, Denise is on the WWE payroll. I wish I was on somebody's payroll. I would take whoever's payroll. I'll take WWE's payroll, AEW's payroll. I take Impact's payroll. I'll take MLW's payroll. I don't care whose payroll it is. I'd take it. All right, guys, let's do this. I'll try not to burn my house down. Here we go. Oh, God. Okay. Dang, I feel so bad because we're starting with the thing I hated the most. So apologies already are in order here. Oh, God, this was not good, guys. And I'm so sad that it kicked off the show because it kicked off the show and it tired me out and it bummed me out the rest of the night. You know what? I'm going to blame this opening segment for kind of setting me off to the wrong mood for AEW here tonight. I think you guys know what I'm talking about, and I'm talking about the Jake Hager Wardlow MMA fight. In the nicest way possible, I'm going to say this. This was terrible. This was horrible. This was awful. This was bad. This was embarrassing, and I hope they never do it again. That is the nicest thing that I can say. I have to add, though, okay. The only nice thing that I really do have to say about this, because I want to say something nice, and that is that I'm glad that they're thinking outside the box. I'm glad that they're trying new things because we all appreciate that. I prefer them trying something new and it being terrible than them trying the same thing over and over and over and over again and it being horrible. So I guess I do prefer them trying new things and it being horrible and hopefully never seeing it again, because this is definitely one of those things that I do not want to see ever again. We had Jake Hager and Wardlow essentially do this terrible MMA fight. They went 2 rounds. It was out of 3 rounds here. Let me describe round 1 for you. I keep saying in the nicest way possible, but it's because I don't want to sound so mean about it. But round 1 was essentially Jake Hager and Wardlow essentially just like half-ass sparring, okay? That's what it was there. It was very obvious that they were taking turns, getting their moment in and kind of just, it was not good, guys. We see Hager jab Wardlow in the eyes. Hager tries to take down Wardlow, is unable to, tries again, eventually gets him down. Wardlow gets a right hand on Hager and takes him down. Then they start exchanging strikes. In round 2, they grapple a little bit more in this round. Hager elbows Wardlow in the ribs. Wardlow powerbombs Hager and does a hurricanrana on Hager. Hager ends up winning this match by stoppage, and he chokes out Wardlow essentially. This was bad. Like Jake Hager's punches. I mean, I could act it out for you right now. It was just literally like 0 intensity whatsoever. I mean, I don't even know how to explain how bad this was here, guys. Commentary didn't add anything good to this whatsoever. There was a moment where Excalibur asked if Wardlow was a cage match expert because he's wrestled Cody in a cage match and has been in a blood and guts match. That does not even apply to what they were doing here. So it sounded very, very dumb. And then afterwards, this did absolutely, okay, so this didn't do favors for anybody. It didn't do favors for Jake Hager. It didn't do Wardlow any favors. It made them look really bad. And it did not make, unfortunately, it also made Aubrey Edwards look bad because there were several moments that if this was a real MMA fight, this would have been stopped at several different points. So they kind of made Aubrey, who they have been doing such a great job building her up and having her do all these things, but they kind of made her look incompetent here. And I didn't like that for her. Like, it kind of really sucked that she was in this position, at least like if you're watching this and you're like an MMA fan, I feel like you probably were definitely not a fan of this. If you're watching this and you're maybe not an MMA fan, I maybe you might have enjoyed this because I did see a lot of different types of comments online. I saw a lot of people that didn't like this. I saw a couple of people that didn't like it, but they were glad that AEW put the effort in there to at least try something different. And then there were other people that thought that it was fun. I did not like this. I didn't think that it accomplished anything good whatsoever here. Again, it was just very, very, it was just not good. I feel like that's the best way that I can say this. All right, let's see. We got some super chats. This one is from Heidi Ho 77, who says, "Fake MMA ruined the show for me. They never got me back." You see, guys, like literally, this is my like point here that I'm trying to make, like in the best way possible. It was not good. They didn't even do it in a way that I think could have came across as believable. I feel like if you're going to do this, you got to know how to do it and at least make it look good. This was not good. This was not good at all. And so thank you so much to Heidi Ho for sending in this comment. If you like this segment, guys, seriously, tell me why you did, because again, I welcome everyone's opinion. If you are a fan of this, if you like this, I would love to know why you did enjoy this. Again, this was just not my favorite thing whatsoever. But let's see what else you guys are saying. I am going to read several more comments. This one is from Joseph Boza, who says, "I felt for Aubrey. She had to referee that crap." Yeah, it didn't make her look good. And you don't want to make your officials not look good. You don't want to do that to your officials, especially they've been, like I said, they've been doing so much with her. They've been really stepping outside the box with her as a referee, having her do all of this, different stuff. So yeah. Letty Banner says, "It was okay for what it was meant to be, which was getting to a third match between these two. Commentary needs a major overhaul. I really think this needs to happen sooner than later. JR is super dated. Excalibur is okay. Shivani isn't bad, but together they don't mesh well." Unfortunately, like, I get that you're like the whole it was okay, it was what it was meant to be and all of that, but this made me not want to see Jake Hager or Wardlow, at least for a good amount of time, because after this, I don't feel like I can take them seriously. Like, I can't take them seriously. This definitely ruined a lot of their credibility. It ruined a lot for me, is what I will say. Let's see what else you guys are saying here. Colette Adams mentions that MJF saved the segment. Obviously, post-show, you had that run-in, the attack, and all of that. That was perfectly fine. That was okay. This one is from Mr. EMJ, who says that MMA match was horribly bad, like Dog Kennel from Hell bad, like Judy Bagwell on a pole bad. Okay. Chris Cage 2X says, "Let's not forget about Raw Underground, everyone. That's the lowest bar. Just saying this MMH cage fight wasn't that bad." I'm going to be honest with you. This was worse than Raw Underground. This was worse than Raw Underground. And I loathed, hated Raw Underground, okay? This one is from Lenny, who says, "I didn't mind it, but if folks feel like this wasn't their cup of tea, whatever." Ralph says, "I'm both an MMA and pro wrestling fan. It was so-so." This guy says entirely, High Score Run says slightly better than Raw Underground. And let's see, this one is from Kenny by God Omega, who says, "The segment is dead And she kept kicking its dead body to death. This one is from Riff55, who says, I didn't hate it, but I had massively low expectations. As a longtime MMA fan, I think it looked dumb, but I like the idea of them trying something new. And see, here's the thing, like also like the way I think about it too is like perception, because obviously these clips are going to be shared on social media. Like when MMA fans that don't watch wrestling see this and they see these clips, like you're telling me they're not going to share their 2 cents in like the comment section and completely trash it. I was already like reading the comment section on some of these websites that were posting the clips from this, and it was not pretty, the things people were saying. And you don't want to have those types of comments. You don't want to have those types of comments. It doesn't do anything well. But like I said, I do prefer them at least trying something and then hopefully not doing it again. All right. A-Shock says, at least the MMA match had a direction. Raw Underground had nothing. That is pretty true. Riff55 says, the fake MMA fight wasn't that much more unrealistic than the fake pro wrestling matches we see all the time. I'm not even going to touch this comment, guys. I'm not even going to touch that comment. This one is from, let's see what else we got here. All right, so we definitely have people here that are obviously have different opinions, which is totally cool. Again, you're either going to really hate this, you're going to like it, or you're going to tolerate it. This one is a super chat from Khaled Adam, who says, thoughts on possible Miro-Penelope pairing? It would be interesting to say the least. I don't know if I'm necessarily here for it, though. I don't think so, but it would definitely be interesting. So thank you for Khaled for sending this in. Brandon says, I missed his super chat. Oh, here we go. This one's from Brandon. Sorry, Brandon. Thank you so much for sending this in. He says, I may be wrong, but doesn't staging an MMA fight in the middle of a wrestling show essentially tell viewers that the rest of the matches are fake? Like, it can send a lot of different messages to the viewers. And that was a lot that I was thinking about here too. It didn't work out, guys. It didn't work out. And I think that depending on who you are and how you're looking at this and you know, what type of viewer you are and what kind of fan you are. I think there were some people maybe could have developed some poor misconceptions about wrestling as a whole after watching this on the show. Okay. Alrighty, guys. So there you go. That is pretty much what we have there with that fight, with that MMA fight. We are going to go ahead and move on. Again, if you were watching the replay of this, feel free to send your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What points do you have? Go ahead and bring them in. I do go ahead and try to read the comments and all of that while doing the show. Alrighty, guys. So now let's go ahead and move on to Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky versus Darby in a handicap match. The thing I did, this was okay. This was okay. I liked Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky coming out and having this match, obviously. But what I want to point out about them as a duo is that you can really tell that they thought out a lot of what they do when they come out, the way that they package themselves. I really like what they're bringing. There was a lot of little things that I noticed about them this week in particular that maybe I didn't notice some of the other weeks. And I might have noticed. See, the thing is, when I went to AEW Double or Nothing, I never rewatched the show, on TV. I just had like the live version of it. So I think there were certain things that I didn't notice at that show that I noticed tonight. And that was one of the things that I really stood out to me, was just a lot of little things that they did with the way that they even just like the way they come out, the way they portray themselves, like where they work in the ring together. I really did like what they had to bring to the table here. But right at the top, we see Darby slap Ethan Page, takes him down really quickly to kick things up. Page quickly tags in Sky. And of course, Page and Sky both utilize the double teaming Darby throughout this entire match. There is a moment where Darby zip ties Page's feet together while Page is not necessarily paying attention. So he zip ties his feet and he ends up tossing him on the outside. And during this moment here, we see Darby do a coffin drop on Scorpio Sky, and he's going for the pin here, and you think he's going to win the match, but instead Ethan Page pulls out his feet, and it ends up being a 2 count. After this, we see Page ram Darby's face right into the turn post, which I thought looked pretty sick. And then in the end, we did end up seeing Paige and Sky getting the win after Paige essentially tossed him and got the pin there. See, here's the thing. So I actually wish that this match would have ended after the coffin drop on Scorpio Sky, once he actually, tied Ethan Page's feet together and actually did the coffin drop. I thought that would have been a lot better for Darby, because I don't necessarily think having Darby lose this match necessarily was all that great, because it kind of made him look like a dumb baby face. Because I get that he has the whole like loner character and all of that. He's a loner. He doesn't want a partner, this and that. But he did have the option to actually get a partner, but he didn't want a partner. So I feel like it doesn't make him look like a smart baby face. And so I wasn't necessarily completely fond of that portion of it. I think had he won, then it would have been like, oh, right, you know what? He's this loner. He chose to go out there without a partner, and he found a way to actually win. But I get now that the story that they're telling here is, he's this hard-headed, loner who didn't want to have a partner and wanted to actually win this fight on his own and didn't essentially end up getting that. So I guess you can see it both ways here. Okay, let's see what you guys thought about this. This one is from, let's see. A-Shock, who says they call themselves Men of the Year. I still have to do like the whole name. I haven't gotten used to the whole Men of the Year thing. Joseph Boza says this handicap match was just there. It was about Ethan and Scorpio proving they are scared to death of Sting. Twitch Face 4 says I really liked this match, and I was also glad that they didn't do the WWE thing of having a top tag team lose to one guy. See, like I said, you could have looked at this both ways for sure. Alrighty, guys, before we continue, friendly reminder, if you haven't yet, if you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you guys go ahead and subscribe, whether it be on the YouTube, on the Twitch channel. Make sure you guys follow. Also, if you haven't already, over on Twitter @_ Denise Salcedo. If you haven't followed me, make sure you guys do so. I'm also on Instagram @_ Denise Salcedo. Also, I am also helping run the new F4W Wrestling Observer Instagram account, where we do post up like lots of graphics where you guys always know some of the latest and breaking news. So in case you are an Instagram addict, you won't miss your news on there, and you can make sure to follow the account @WONF4W. It is the exact same handle as Twitter, so you can definitely go ahead and follow the Instagram account as well. But now we're going to go ahead and move on, because after this we had a match between Cesar Bononi and Orange Cassidy, which, by the way, I've been realizing for a while that I kept saying Bonani instead of Bononi. So if I say Bonani at some point, just know that's my bad. Cesar Bononi. This was a pretty fine match. This was okay. I like this. Cesar tosses, at the top of the match, we see Cesar toss Orange Cassidy onto the outside. He has the Wingmen out there, and I'm liking the Wingmen so far. Like, based on what we've been seeing, I'm totally cool with this. When he's out there on the outside of the ring, Orange Cassidy, they start to give him a little makeover. I thought that was kind of funny. And then afterwards, we see best friends give Orange Cassidy a boost, send him flying onto Cesar and the Wingmen. I thought that was a pretty fun move. Orange Cassidy ends up hitting a DDT and ends up getting the win with the Orange Punch. This was a perfectly fine, fun little match. I was totally here for it. Totally and utterly here for it. We have a comment from Francis R. from Italy. He says, hello from Italy. Got you live for once. Woohoo! I've always wondered about that. Like, if people, because, obviously people watch, and not everybody watches the show live. And I've always been curious if people like got used to watching the show on replay, but then come and watch the live version of it. I've always been curious about all of that. So thank you so much to Francis R. from watching all the way from Italy. I hope you are bene. I did not say that right. Oh man, my Italian has gotten really, really bad. I used to kind of know a little bit of Italian, kind of just went downhill. All right, let's see what else we got here. Pomi Wrestling says, fine match. Highlight was Peter Avalon crying while holding Bonani's body. Dude, give Peter Avalon some credit. That guy can do facials like no other. Okay, I love Peter Avalon's facials. They're so hilarious. He has a very animated face, and I'm totally here for it. Totally here for it. Let's see what else we got here. I'm going to go ahead and scroll really quickly through a couple of these. Friendly reminder, if you want to get your comment, question, or statement read on the air, you can send in a super chat. If not, I'll try to catch a few of the other comments as I'm going through this entire stream. IBN 1989 points out that he believes Peter Avalon was hilarious. Indeed, he was. Alrighty, guys, here we go. Oh, thank you. Francis R says I said it right. Bene. I was hoping you're like good, like you're fine, you're okay. Oh, Bene. Okay, there you go. Bene, everybody. Let's see what we got here. Heel Ray 07 says AEW was great at the start, but then after the MMA fight, it all went downhill. Heel Ray, the MMA fight was the start of AEW, so it went downhill from the start. Okay, that made me laugh. Thank you so much to Heel Ray. Alrighty, guys, let's go ahead and move on. So after this, we had a backstage segment, which I loved, actually. Kenny Omega, Jungle Boy. Essentially, Kenny Omega is trying to get under Jungle Boy's skin. He's trying to get him to get one in on him. He's trying to give him a free punch, right? He wants to get punched in the face so that he can definitely go at it with Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy's like, all right, you know what? Don't call my bluff. I'll definitely punch you in the face. So he's taking off his coat. He hands over his phone to Marvez, and then out of nowhere, he's getting ready to punch Kenny Omega, but Nakazawa hits him with the laptop to his back, and essentially Kenny Omega attacks him. Kenny Omega attacks Jungle Boy, and before Jungle Boy could even get any sort of fight back to Kenny Omega before he can get a punch in or anything. Next thing you know, Kenny Omega is on this golf cart and he's being, hauled out of there. And I'm thinking, this is hilarious. I thought that Kenny Omega leaving in the golf cart was probably my favorite thing on Dynamite, period. I thought that was such a good little segment there. I loved that. Alrighty, guys. Let's see what else we got here. Josh Bowen says this was stupid. So this is the same guy who was the leader of the Bullet Club? ? I thought it was funny. I liked it. All right, guys. I'm back to be Negative Nancy. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Negative Nancy back. She is here live and in person because I have to share. The next two segments of the show, I was not a fan of either. So I'm apologizing now. Cody and Brock Anderson versus Aaron Solo and QT Marshall. I'm going to be really nice. Oh, God. Every time I say I'm going to be nice, I turn out to say some really evil things, okay? I'm so sorry, everybody. But Brock Anderson, I feel so bad, but this isn't it. This was not a good debut. This was not a good in-ring debut whatsoever. Unfortunately, I thought he was very dull. I didn't think he screamed star potential whatsoever. There was nothing there that I kind of felt was like, oh my God, I'm excited to see what he has to bring to the table. Unfortunately, I feel I've seen everything. I do not feel that he seems ready to be on Dynamite just yet. This is where I think that AEW needs to utilize that relationship that they have with Impact Wrestling a whole lot more, because they can, for somebody like Brock Anderson, who is not necessarily ready to be on Dynamite, he should definitely be over on Impact, getting some matches and working with people like Eric Young, Eddie Edwards, Scott D'Amore, James Storm. They have so many veterans and good workers over on Impact that can help some of those AEW talents get better. I do think that they could help them, work better, obviously just get better in general, because here, this was not a good performance for him. Like, I just thought he didn't look good, didn't scream star like I just said. And I kind of feel like he's just in that, so he won this match, okay? He pinned Aaron Solo. And unfortunately, I think that Aaron Solo deserves a whole lot better than what he got here. I don't think that, it doesn't feel to me like Brock has necessarily, I don't think he's necessarily earned that spot to be there, or like deserves that spot. I feel like it's just like his name that is the reason why he's there, because just based off of what I've seen, it's not looking too great. And I already felt this way during last week's episode where I didn't really feel like he brought anything to the table. And then this week I was like, okay, maybe it'll be different in ring wise, but all I saw is that he's just not ready to be on Dynamite just yet. So I feel bad having to say all of that, but that is just my honest criticism there. So send in your comments. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? You're totally allowed to disagree. Let's see what you guys are saying. Okay, let's see. This one's from Colette Adam, who says, considering who his dad is, it was a major disappointment. Heel Ray says Brock Anderson needs to go on Dark or Elevation. Tony thinks that being a manager's son or daughter on the main show makes the show go down because we have not seen them on a lower show, expecting them on that lower show. Tano says, disagree. Impact can be giving away their TV time for AEW wrestlers who need TV time. That's what Dark and Elevation are for. Obviously, still same thing, do Dark and Elevation, but I do think that they can utilize that relationship with Impact Wrestling and make it, they can utilize that and it can benefit both sides, in my opinion here. MCAS says Brock looks fine. Denise is being too critical. Let's see what else we got here. And I'm trying to get a couple more comments in here. This one's from Brandon, who says, give Brock some matches on Dark. Josh says, Denise, if he would have been by himself, it would have been better. I don't think so. Heckman MN says no one should have their first match on Dynamite. He should have had like 20 minutes on Dark until he's ready to be carried on Dynamite. That too, because then obviously that just opens the door for, criticism. And unfortunately, like that's the way it is. You're gonna get criticized, Let's see. All right, guys, send in your comments. I hope I didn't miss any of them here. I'm trying to get as many as I possibly can here. And Mr. EMJ says, be like Belair, unapologetic. I do agree with you. Brock needs to job on Impact or AEW Dark Elevation. Aaron Solo has top TNT title contender written all over him. Yeah, and it's like when you see guys like Aaron, who I feel that are at a different level and should necessarily be eating those types of pins, like I think you can do a lot more with guys like Aaron as of right now, considering where they're at different points, obviously. And this one's from Alex, who says, I feel sorry for Brock because the bar for him has been set too high. It's why he should have started on a smaller platform like Impact or, like we mentioned, Dark Elevation, all of that. Chris Cage 2X says he's a little green. Dark Elevation matches will get him back on track in no time. And then let's see what else we got here. All right. I think I got mostly all of them here. If I didn't get your comment, feel free to keep sending them in, or you can send in a super chat and I will definitely try to read some of those here. God, I hate negative Nancy, Denise, but hey, it happens, guys. All right, let's go ahead and move on from this here. So, all right, so I said that this was going to continue on for a second segment. So here's the second segment that I was not a fan of. This was the Andrade Jim Ross interview, and I kind of already knew heading into this that this was not going to be that great, just given the fact that I do think it's a little disrespectful that there was this moment where in the interview, Jim Ross calls Andrade the idol, and Andrade corrects him. And when Andrade corrects him, Jim Ross just ignores that and continues on with the conversation. I feel like that, if you're trying to make Andrade look like this larger than life star, when you have the interviewer essentially not give a damn when the person is correcting them and their name, it doesn't make them look like a star. It takes away from that. And I feel that it's kind of like rude to not learn somebody's name properly, especially if you're going to be doing this interview with them and you want to take them seriously as a star. I think you should definitely learn how to say the person's name. And then also there was some moments too where Andrade, when he was speaking English, they had the subtitles on for him. I was not a fan of them doing the subtitles when he was speaking English, because when he was speaking English, you could totally understand everything that he was saying. When he's speaking Spanish, by all means, put the subtitles on there. That's totally cool. But I did kind of think it was a little bit, you didn't need it. You didn't need to put the subtitles there. I kind of feel like it for viewers, that are very quick to judge the way someone speaks and someone's language, I feel like it focuses too much on the fact that this person may not be able to speak perfect English. And so I was not a fan of that. I think that they could have done away with the subtitles while he was speaking English. I think that while he was speaking Spanish, keep the subtitles on. So again, I was not a fan of this whatsoever. I just think that you should definitely, if you're going to do an interview with somebody, learn their name, say it properly. And even, or if you mess it up and they correct you, feed off of that, feed off of that. So I don't know. Let's see. Am I nitpicking, guys? Am I nitpicking here? All right, I'm reading some of these comments that are kind of hilarious. All right, let's see. Patrick says, I agree, Denise. This was a bad look for AEW. Hopefully they will do better. Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, I just think it's one of those things where you don't always know the right thing to do. So you live and you learn. Kevin Nash is cool, says Andrade needs to beat up Jim Ross like Stone Cold or set him on fire like Kane. Set him on fire like Kane. That's hilarious. And this one is from Ren, who says, even their so-called Spanish speakers can't pronounce ídolo. Not good. Yeah, I think Vicky had a moment too where she didn't say it that good. Last week I was stumbling. Why was I stumbling? I stumble over everything. I stumble over every word. All right. Let's see what else we got here, guys. And people are talking about the Kane segment. Tanel says, I'm wondering when JR's contract is set to expire. I'm hoping that AEW chooses not to re-up it. I won't even touch that right now. I won't even go there at the moment. But let's move on from this. All right. After this, okay, we got 3 more segments to talk about, everyone. Before I continue on with those 3 segments, friendly reminder that I am on here 3 times a week talking about NXT, AEW Dynamite, and Friday Night SmackDown. This is the last Friday that I will be covering both SmackDown and AEW. Afterwards, next week's schedule, I'll be doing Tuesday NXT. Then I'll be doing Friday SmackDown, and then Saturday, immediately following AEW Dynamite, I will be going live on Saturday. Then the following week, we are back to normal. Celebrate good times. Tuesdays, it'll be NXT, Wednesdays, AEW, and Fridays, SmackDown. So it won't be until the final week of this month that we are back to the normal schedule. Again, I will be sharing all the links. All of the links will be posted on the website and obviously on my Twitter account and all of that. So you will know when these shows are going up. All righty, so here we go, guys. There was a quick backstage segment where Hangman Page is asked about the world title match that is happening next week between Kenny Omega and Jungle Boy. He is asked if he is obviously interested in that, given the fact that he is the number 2 top contender. And so he kind of switched gears. He kind of changed the subject there for a second. And it seems to me that this is going to be an interesting story that they're going to be telling here with Hangman Page. Based off of this little segment alone, it seems like he is dodging having to answer that. So a couple theories that I may have here for this is I'm thinking that maybe either they're going to tell the story that maybe Hangman Page has lost a little confidence in that department, or maybe he doesn't want to go back and remember that part of his career where he lost to Kenny Omega, where he left the Elite. So I do think that there's going to be an interesting story to tell there with Hangman Page. And today was kind of just like the first glance that we've seen of it. So I thought that was a really good segment. I was definitely a fan of that. Tanel says, your calendar must be crazy trying to keep up with all the schedule changes. Yeah, especially because I keep forgetting. Like there's certain weeks where I'm like, oh my gosh, like at the top of this month, I was very confused. I was like, when is AEW? I was so confused, but we got it all straightened out. So I'm okay with that now. Alrighty, after this, we had Penelope Ford versus Julia Hart. This is not a good match. Penelope, I think at this point, should be further along by now. And Julia has a lot of potential, but I do think that she needs to be in the ring with people that can work a little bit better so that she can get better. there's definitely potential there. Penelope won with the Muda lock, but again, this was just not the greatest match. Miro comes out afterwards and takes down the Varsity Blondes. So that's pretty much what we had in that segment. And lastly, the main event, we had Penta, Eddie Kingston, Frankie Kazarian versus Matt Jackson and the Good Brothers. Now, before I get to that, we do have a super chat. Thank you so much to Dr. Sophia Bonilla, DWO EVP, who says, women's division back to terrible booking besides Baker kills me. You've got Statlander, Diamante, and some great talent you can give stories to. Yeah, I don't think I won't go and say that. I'm not going to go as far as to say, oh, they're going back to some bad booking. I don't think so. I wouldn't say that. But obviously, aside from Britt Baker, she's really is the only thing right now that I feel people are really interested in. Obviously, they're working the story with Nyla Rose. So hopefully they just continue to, build some, mid-card women's feuds as well. So I do think they need to strengthen that as well. And I hope they do. But thank you so much to Dr. Sophia for sending in this super chat. Thank you. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and talk about this main event. I love this main event. This main event was fun. Again, 6-man here. I have to go ahead and give some shout outs here to Frankie Kazarian, because Frankie Kazarian was really the highlight of this match. And I mean, that shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, considering the fact that Frankie Kazarian is one of those guys that no matter what, always puts out a really good match. But he really was the highlight of this. At the top of this, you see Frankie Kazarian is still pissed off that that SCU essentially got broken up by the Elite. And I like this because the fact that even though that happened weeks and weeks ago, however much time has gone by since then, he is still upset about that, and he still, shows that in his match against them. So I like this because it's like, okay, if this guy cares, he's gonna make me care about this. There's so many times where you see somebody do something to somebody, then the following week they don't even remember, or like the following couple weeks later they don't even remember, and we're like, bro, you had like this whole feud, like, X amount of time ago, and you're acting like it never even happened. So I like the fact that Frankie Kazarian still showed that he is angry at the Elite over them breaking up the SCU. Also, I enjoyed seeing Matt Jackson and Eddie Kingston essentially chopping each other. I thought that was great. Let's see. Penta did a tope con hero, obviously. Penta, he did a tope con hero, and then after that, he did a DDT on Matt Jackson. I thought that was awesome. Kazarian also did the angel swings and nod to Christopher Daniels. I hope that he continues using that as well. I think that would be really awesome. Carl Anderson ended up pinning Penta with a top rope cutter. So that was that match. Really fun match. I liked the main event. I thought the main event was really solid. And that was pretty much the end of AEW Dynamite. Let's get some last comments in here. Everybody send in your thoughts. And then before I wrap things up, I just want to remind you that I will be back on here. My next show is Tuesdays, NXT, and obviously next week will be the first time since after Samoa Joe made his debut, so we're gonna kind of see the follow-up to this happening next week, so that'll be really fun. And then after that, I will be back Friday for SmackDown, and then after that, I will be here on Saturday for AEW. So let's get some last comments. This one is from, let's see, Lenny, who also points out that Nick Jackson came in with the spray to set up for the win. And IBN 1989 says the next 2 weeks are stacked. Dude, I feel like the next couple of months are stacked. I feel like everything is so stacked. Yes, I will be here Saturday night. Somebody just asked if I'm going to be here Saturday night for AEW. I will definitely be here talking about AEW on Saturday night. Alrighty, I think I got pretty much everybody's comments here. Guys, that is our show. Thank you so much for tuning in to listen to me talk about both WWE SmackDown and AEW Dynamite. I hope you guys had a really fun time chatting about the show. Again, I will see you guys back here on Tuesday for NXT. Do not forget to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter or on Instagram @_Denise Salcedo, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone. Take care.